Hi there, my name is Logan Potosky, I'm a senior at John Carroll University, and this is my reel for the 2023 Jim Nantz Award. Now a 1st and 10 for Marietta at the John Carroll 18-yard line. Minute 22 to go in this first half. 28-7, John Carroll in the lead. A shotgun set, a zone run to Agnew, cuts to his right, and he gets a short gain here to the 15-yard line, and looks like leading the way on that stop was Tyler Timmons, the linebacker, and it will now be a 2nd down for the Pioneers. And no real hurry if you're Marietta. You're already inside the red zone, and you have a minute to go with all 3 timeouts.
Well, and the Marietta offense will get the ball back to start the second half as well, so you're trying to get 2 scores on the board here with this last minute and make it a 1-score game.
Pistol set for the Pioneer offense. 2nd and 7 at the John Carroll 15. Trips bunched on the near side. Dre Baldwin in motion from left to right. Play action fake. Vierstra rolls to his right. Plenty of space to throw. He's going to take off. Tries to juke away from a blue streak, but he will not be able to get out of the way of Griffin Lydiard. Nice job on the right side to take him down to the turf. And looks like inbounds, but head coach Andy Waddle will use his first timeout of the afternoon. 35 seconds to go in this first half, and John Carroll leading 28-7.
It was a great job by Lydiard as well, bringing down the Marietta quarterback before he got out of bounds. So that forces Marietta to take a timeout here with 35 seconds left, as those get very precious in this situation here. But Marietta, obviously, as said, they're getting the ball back to start the second half. They're trying to put a score up here and get a score up that first drive of the second half to make it a 1-score ball game. But the Blue Streaks, they got to get a stop here or stop on that first drive. They would love for a big stand here and only holding the Pioneers to 3 points.
And this is really the expression that, more so relates to food, so to speak, but I just do like to use it when it does come up. A potential double dip chance for Marietta. You can get a score to end the first half and then another one potentially to start the second half, but no more points since their only touchdown. They're looking for more on this drive. 3rd and 5 from the John Carroll 13-yard line. A shotgun snap, empty backfield. Vierstra throws right side, and it is batted away and incomplete. A nice play from the Blue Streak secondary. Potosky was all alone on that right side, but Kiefer Askew jumps up and bats that one into the Pioneer sideline. It's 4th and 5, and decision time for Marietta.
Well, I don't think the Marietta offense is going to sell for 3 here. They got to go for 7 points, down by 21, and they have those 2 drives back to back, so they've got to get 7 points out of this drive. This could mean a lot going forward into this ball game.
4th and 5 for Marietta at the John Carroll 13-yard line. They need to get to the 8-yard line to keep this drive going. 3 receivers wide. Shotgun snap, Vierstra. There's a blitz coming in. Vierstra can't get away. The ball is loose, and it's picked up by Michael Palmer. He's across midfield. He's to the 45-40. Has a lead blocker in front of him in Pricker Tail. He gives him a push to the 10, 5, touchdown, John Carroll. What a play! A fumble return touchdown for John Carroll. Safety Michael Palmer gives the Blue Streaks a 34-7 lead with 14 seconds to go in the first half. What a spark for the Blue Streak defense.
Everything that could have gone right on that play went right for the Blue Streaks. They're facing a situation where Marietta on back-to-back drives has a chance at making this a 1-score game. They prevent all of that from happening by making this a 27-point, maybe 28-point ball game, depending on the extra point. What a great run by Palmer as well. That linebacker coming in, going all the way to the house after picking up that fumble.
Michael Palmer, the senior safety from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Mount Lebanon High School. Extra point on the way. Yanni Volas to kick, Grant Gagne to hold. Good snap, ball down, kick up, end over end, through the uprights, and this kick is good. A defensive touchdown for John Carroll gives them a 35-7 lead with 14 seconds to go in this first half. On your home for the Blue Streaks, WJCU 88.7. Chacon slashes on Newsom, goes with the left, that just missed, swatted out of bounds. And last off the Christian Parker will stay with John Carroll, 20 on the shot clock. And we're going right into the Carroll crazies here. I have to say, just one stat I just couldn't help but look at in the first half. Mount Union shooting into the student section, 1 for 6 at the foul line. So perhaps a little early MVP candidate the Carroll Crazies. Topping, no look to O'Toole. Reverses, good. What a play for the first points of the second half.
In that situation, you got to shoot it there for Connor O'Toole. Doesn't really get on the stat sheet much, but able to get a much-needed basket there to go up by 3.
39-36, John Carroll on top. Parker goes to work. Baby hook way off. Frazier hauls it in. O'Toole hit the deck. Frazier on the move. Drives through Parker. Euro steps. Puts it in and a foul. And Luke Frazier with a chance for one more.
Luca Eller pumping up that student section, but Luke Frazier, that's one of the many facets of his game that makes him so dangerous. Able to slash to the middle of the lane and get a one-on-one matchup there with Parker. Takes a hard foul, but is able to get the little runner in there for an and one.
Frazier with 13 points. Establishing the pace for John Carroll. That free throw is good. Luke Frazier now again with a team-high 14. John Carroll by 6, their largest lead of the evening. And a full-court press not stopping anytime soon. Painter tightly guarded by Chacon. Now Braden Poole switched on to by Chacon.
You didn't see a lot of that full-court press in the first half. A little bit here and there, but I really like the aggression that the Blue Streaks have had in that aspect.
Step back 3, Gurley misses, had 20 in the first half. And saved by Parker magically to Painter, who hoists a 3. That one's off the mark. Gurley with the offensive rebound. Whips a pass for Newsom, too strong, and it will go back to John Carroll.
And again, how sustainable can that really great first half performance be for Mount Union in the second? We saw Bolden Wallace last week. They shot 62% from the field in the first half compared to just below 30 in the second. Same from three-point range. 9 of 12 in the first half, only 16% in the second. Blue Streaks clamped down in that second half like they did against the Yellow Jackets last week.
Topping gets a screen from Eller. Eller rolls, skip past Chacon, fakes a 3, drives, hop steps. Eller fakes out 2 Purple Raiders, gets it back. And a travel is called. Noah, you knew it. And he just shuffled his feet a little too much.
Yeah, and I think he's just trying to get that offensive rebound back there. Just a little too far under the basket. I think if he was a little bit more closer to that restricted area, a little bit less further under the backboard, I think that would have been a nice 2. But just got a little jumpy there after getting the offensive board.
Painter had an open lane on the sideline. Parker hoists a 3. That one rattles out and then back in, and Mount Union back to within 3.
Luca Eller didn't even really have a hand in his face. He kind of just let him shoot that. Anyone can go off for this Mount Union team. Have to get a little contested there.
Frazier loses it. It's stolen by Poole. Frazier tips it from behind to Chacon. 3-on-2. Toppin for 3. No good. He gets his own rebound. Slashes inside. That's swatted by Poole. Chacon comes up with it. He finds Toppin again.
They are so good protecting that rim, really showcasing it here on that possession.
Nothing easy in this one. Chacon crosses on Painters. 5 on the shot clock. Has to do something.
See if some of those bigs can come out to get the lane open.
Toppin strip. No foul called. He wanted one. It was Gurley who came up with it. He stops in his tracks and look to set things up for the Purple Raiders. Looking to potentially tie the game on this possession. Double from Eller. He tipped it. He tips to Chacon from the floor. Chacon inside. Finger rolls good. Run around second. Valdez 1-1 to Cairo. Swung on. Looping line drive. And that's past the second baseman. Done for a base hit. Rounding third and coming home standing is Yordes Valdez. It's a 2-out RBI single for Christian Cairo. He extends his on-base streak now to 25 consecutive games. And Los Picantes de Lake County cut their deficit in half. They trail 2-1. And the potential leading run is at home plate. Los Picantes down 2-1, 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
There we go. Christian Cairo with a single to right field, showing him go opposite way. Dunn gave it a valiant effort, but out of his reach. And Brian Esposito is now talking with his pitcher, the manager, coming out for this mound visit, and I think just trying to calm him down. No one warming up for Fort Wayne, so it's on him, and I think that's what Esposito's telling him, despite this being the 3rd time through the order. Your stuff's been on, your arm is good, and try and collect this final out, and then we'll worry about the rest. But for Fort Wayne, this is a winnable game, and we've talked about it. They, prideful themselves, they want to win this game. Of course, Lake County, with a win, secures a playoff spot. And finally, 2 hits in an inning and a run. That's what happens when you get guys on base. And now a throw comes to,
he throws it to third base. The third baseman, Diaz, was, sorry to cut you off, John, but I know you saw that as well. He threw it over to third. I think the Tin Caps thought Valdez missed third on the turn. But it looks like their, live action appeal will be denied. But Justin Diaz was just standing on the third base bag waiting for a ball to get thrown to him. First pitch to Joe Naranjo from Hawkins, a breaking ball down the heart of the zone for strike one. That was very interesting because I'm wondering, why is Diaz standing on the third base bag?
And Esposito did signal towards third base, so maybe that was what the conversation was about.
Before the 0-1 pitch, a pickoff attempt to first base with Cairo leading off. Tag not applied in time by Cummings.
Because Esposito was very animated, and I'm figuring, hey, he's a guy from Staten Island, I'm from Queens. We get like that sometimes. But maybe it was because of thinking Valdez missed.
Hawkins is 0-1, a fastball high and outside for ball one. Joe Naranjo 0 for 2 tonight. A swinging strikeout ended the first, and he flew out to right field in the fourth. He's tied for the Lake County Captains franchise record for single-season walks with 82. The 1-1 swung on and missed. Right down the middle of the zone, a 1-2 count to the first baseman, Joe Naranjo. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2-1, Los Picantes de Lake County trail. Naranjo the go-ahead run at the plate. Hawkins deals from the stretch. Runner in Cairo takes off. This one swung on. Hit high and deep to right field. Back at the wall, and this ball is gone! Joe Naranjo on a 2-strike pitch takes Garrett Hawkins deep to right. And 1 swing of the bat gives Los Picantes de Lake County a 3-run bottom of the 6th. Naranjo with his 18th home run of the season, and he gives Los Picantes de Lake County a 3-2 lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th inning.
We go to the bottom of the third. 1-1, Captains and Whitecaps. Cleveland Farm Report time. Here's Logan Potosky.
Thanks, John. First, we'll start with the Low A Lynchburg Hillcats, who are sitting at 27-21 on the season and in first place in the Carolina League North Division. They're in a home series against the Carolina Mudcats, the Low A affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, who are half a game back of the Hillcats in the Carolina League North standings at Bank of the James Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia. The Hillcats are 3-1 in this series. They lost a completion of Thursday's game 7-4 yesterday, but ended up winning the regularly scheduled game yesterday by a score of 6-1. At the moment, they are in the bottom of the 5th with a 5-0 lead, and runners on second and third make that the bases loaded now with 1 out. Next, the AA Akron Rubber Ducks. They are 28-21 on the season so far, tied for first in the Eastern League Southwest Division, taking on the Richmond Flying Squirrels, the AA affiliate of the San Francisco Giants, who are 1 game back of first place. From Canal Park in Akron, the Rubber Ducks 1-3 in the series. They split a doubleheader yesterday, and at the moment, they're in the top of the 3rd inning, and a runner on first for Richmond, and no score. Next, the AAA Columbus Clippers, who are 31-21 on the season, second in the International League West Division, in a home series against the Toledo Mudhens, a AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers, from Huntington Park in Columbus. The Clippers 3-1 in the series so far, riding a 2-game win streak into today, and at the moment, in the top of the 3rd, they lead by a score of 1-0 thanks to an RBI double from former captain Trenton Brooks. Finally, the Cleveland Guardians in the major leagues, coming into today with a 23-24 record and sitting in second place in the American League Central standings. They are in a road series against the Baltimore Orioles from Oriole Park at Camden Yards in Baltimore. The Guardians, coming into today, won 5 of their last 6, including a 4-game win streak. That streak has come to an end with a 5-4 loss today. Former captain Jose Ramirez hit his 14th home run of the season, a solo shot. Oscar Gonzalez went 1 for 4 at the plate. And former captain Tristan McKenzie fell to 3-5 on the season, throwing 7 innings, allowing 3 hits and 5 runs, all earned, surrendering 3 walks, throwing 4 strikeouts, and allowing 3 home runs. The Guardians now 23-25 on the season. First pitch tomorrow is at 1:35 p.m. Finally, a bit of trivia. On this day in 1974, the Cleveland then Indians hosted the Texas Rangers in a game that would live in infamy. This is because a promotion caused a riot on the field, which led to the game being forfeited to the Rangers. What was this promotion? I'd say, how cool would that be? I mean, you're going to get vibes of Dylan, I know you're playing baseball right now, that Ken Griffey Jr., Ken Griffey Sr. kind of vibe. I thought that was very cool. And speaking of Bronny, just seeing some recent news in terms of him, according to Mark Stein, he will be playing for USA Basketball in Portland in April in the heavily scouted Nike Hoop Summit. So Bronny is among a group of 26 players selected for that, so he's certainly making a name for himself as well. Did see him on the floor watching his dad get the all-time regular season scoring record. So, again, just a huge achievement for LeBron James in that aspect. But how about one of LeBron's former teams, the Cleveland Cavaliers? They are on a hot stretch right now, a 7-game winning streak. They're fourth in the East with a 38-22 record so far this season, and they were able to collect wins over Detroit, New Orleans on the road, at home against Chicago, and then last night at home against San Antonio. And regarding that win at home against San Antonio, just some uncanny connection that I could not help but notice. I'm a Seinfeld fan myself. I don't know about you two. I know it's a bit of an older show, but the Cavs beat the Spurs last night 117-109, and it's oddly specific, but I've watched the show enough to know when and where this happens. There's an episode of the show that aired in 1991, and the main character, Jerry, has this like post-it note piece of paper. He wrote something on it like when he was asleep, kind of just quickly woke up, jotted something down, but he couldn't read it. So he kept asking people, do you know what this says? I don't know what this says. He gives it to somebody, and he's like, oh, yeah, I know what it says. He's like, yeah, what? Then the guy says, Cleveland 117, San Antonio 109. And it's funny in itself, just a specific score, specific teams, and that time frame, you're like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know what's going to happen with that. In 2019, in San Antonio, an overtime game, the Cavaliers beat the Spurs 117-109. It happens again last night. That's happened twice. I mean, you talk about a crazy prediction. What are the odds of something like that? Speaking of that time, getting on the court, starting to build the chemistry early this season, how has practice and preparation been going leading into this 22-23 season?
The biggest thing that we've noticed is just the competitiveness, that not only the new guys, but the returners have demonstrated. We've had some of the most competitive practices this year that I've ever been a part of. I think that's largely part of just guys wanting to compete and prove themselves. So practices have been going, every day, the staff and we meet and we discuss things, personnel, X's and O's, and every day we feel a little bit better, though it's going to take a little bit of time. I think our motto is with the coaching staff has really been, we're not looking at the past. We're not looking 3, 4, 5 weeks down the road. We're just looking day by day and how we can get better and how we can gel these guys to play team basketball a little bit better.
And that constant improvement is certainly a good thing to consider, again, over the stretch of a very long basketball season. I know we've talked about a lot of not only returning players, also new faces coming in, also a pair of new coaches entering your coaching staff as well, Damon Jones and your brother Matt Moran. What will these two coaches bring to the team this season?
I think what Coach Jones brings is just his skill development. He's an outside perspective. What he gives us, he has experience playing international basketball at a very high level. He's coached at a higher level. I think he's instrumental with some of the gaps or holes that we felt we had as a staff. I think he certainly fills those voids. Bringing my brother Matt along, he's an overqualified Division III assistant coach. It's his fresh ideas. It's, his work ethic. And collectively, what this staff does for our program and our institution is like nothing else. Guys that work full-time jobs but still sacrifice time away from their families to be a part of something very special. And just like I mentioned, their work ethic is impeccable. And I'm a better coach because of them. We're a better program because of them. And we're a better institution because of them.
And that's great to hear about those coaches ultimately joining together and taking time out of their lives to try to build these young men into ultimately men of Carroll. I know we've talked a lot about on the basketball court, just going a little bit off of the hardwood. There are a lot of family ties for your family, Coach. You have the court named after your father, legendary Mike Moran, coached 25 years here at John Carroll. You're coaching with both of your brothers this year. Your nephew, Luke Chacon, is set to play for the Blue Streaks this season. What does it mean to you having the Moran family legacy carried on in JC basketball?
Logan, my families were extremely close, right? So throughout our lives, we've spent a lot of time together, whether it's, in athletics or off the courts. So it's really not an adjustment. Matt and I were fortunate to play for my father back in 2004. So it's nothing new. It's us being comfortable with each other, us reading each other, us helping each other. Bringing my nephew in the equation is special. I mean, he's a special talent, obviously, but it's great for the university. It really is. You talk about men of Carroll. Both of them are John Carroll alums, and they're giving back to the institution. So from a personal standpoint, I'm excited, obviously, but we ultimately know we have a job to do, and our main focus is to get that job done.